I stood at the gilded entrance of the grand ballroom, the scent of fresh lilies and polished silverware wafting through the air like a mocking perfume. My heart pounded with a mix of excitement and nerves. After all, it was my sister Emily's wedding day, the event she'd dreamed of since we were kids playing dress-up in Mom's closet. I adjusted my tie, the silk smooth under my fingers, and stepped up to the check-in table where a young staffer in a crisp black vest smiled politely. "Name, please?" she asked, her pen hovering over the guest list. "Alex Thompson," I replied, my voice steady despite the butterflies. She scanned the page, her brow furrowing. She flipped to the next, then back again. A second staffer leaned over, whispering. Their eyes met mine, laced with awkward pity. "Sorry, sir," she said finally, her tone laced with professional regret. "But you're not on the list." The words slammed into me like a freight train, derailing every expectation. Not on the list. At my own sister's wedding. The ballroom's crystal chandeliers twinkled mockingly above, casting fractured light on the marble floor that suddenly felt like quicksand beneath my polished shoes. Laughter and clinking glasses echoed from inside, a symphony of joy I was apparently barred from. Humiliation burned my cheeks, hot and unrelenting, as nearby guests glanced over, their whispers slicing like paper cuts. Fury bubbled up, raw and unfiltered. How could Emily do this? My sister, my blood, the one I'd protected through Dad's rages and Mom's absences. Heartbreak followed, a deep fissure cracking open old wounds. Was I that disposable? I stammered, denial kicking in. There must be a mistake. Emily Thompson, she's my sister. Check again. The staffer shook her head, apologetic but firm. I'm afraid not. Perhaps there's been an oversight. But her eyes said otherwise. This was deliberate. I turned away, the velvet rope barring the entrance like a prison gate, my mind reeling. Obsession took hold instantly. Why? What had I done? Flashbacks assaulted me. Our last fight 6 months ago, over the family estate after Dad's death. She'd accused me of greed, but I'd only wanted fairness. Had that festered into this? Pacing the lobby, the plush carpet muffling my steps, I fought the urge to barge in. The air hummed with the distant band tuning up, strings vibrating like my taut nerves. Resentment coiled in my gut, layered with guilt. Maybe I'd been too harsh, too insistent on my share of the inheritance. But no, she'd manipulated the will, whispering to Dad in his final days, claiming I didn't care. Doubt crept in. Was this revenge for challenging her? Or something deeper, a secret I'd buried? I slipped outside to the manicured gardens, the cool evening breeze carrying hints of rain and rose petals. The venue, a sprawling estate overlooking rolling hills, fairy lights strung like stars, now felt like a stage for my exclusion. Leaning against a stone fountain, water trickling soothingly, I pulled out my phone. No missed calls, no texts from Emily. Just silence, amplifying the betrayal. Inner conflict raged. Storm in and confront her, or slink away, preserving dignity. Fantasies of justice flickered, exposing her lies to the guests, ruining her perfect day. But fear held me back. What if I was wrong? What if this shattered the family forever? Familiar voice cut through the dusk. "Alex, what are you doing out here?" It was Aunt Clara, Mom's sister, in a shimmering gown, her face lined with concern. She hugged me, her perfume floral and comforting, but I pulled back. They wouldn't let me in. Said I'm not on the list. Her eyes widened, then softened with pity that stung worse than anger. "Oh, honey. Emily mentioned something about space issues, but I thought..." She trailed off, revealing more in the silence. Manipulation dawned on me. Emily had planned this, perhaps even briefed the family. "Come on," Clara said, linking her arm in mine. "I'll get you in. This is ridiculous." We re-entered, her vouching for me with the staff, who relented reluctantly. The ballroom enveloped me. Tables draped in ivory linens, centerpieces of orchids glowing under soft lights, the murmur of 200 guests blending with a jazz quartet's sultry notes. Emily stood at the head table, radiant in her lace gown, laughing with her new husband, Greg, a slick lawyer type I'd never trusted. Our eyes met across the room. Hers flashed with shock, then cool composure. She excused herself, gliding over like a queen granting audience. "Alex," she said, air-kissing my cheek, her lips cold. "I didn't expect you." No warmth, just calculated politeness. Suppressed rage simmered in me, but I matched her tone. "Wouldn't miss it. Congrats." Greg joined us, his handshake firm, eyes appraising. "Good to see you, bud. Everything okay?" His smile didn't reach his eyes, hinting at shared secrets. As the evening unfolded, tension built like storm clouds. Toasts rang out, glasses chiming like bells tolling my isolation. I sat at a peripheral table with distant cousins, their small talk grating against my inner turmoil. Every glance at Emily fueled resentment. She danced with Greg, her laughter pealing, while I nursed a scotch, its burn mirroring my fury. Obsession grew. I overheard whispers about the family drama, confirming my suspicions. Denial faded. This was intentional humiliation. Later in the restroom, mirrors reflecting my haggard face, the scent of soap sharp, I confronted Clara privately. "Why did she do this?" Clara sighed, her voice low. "It's the will, Alex. She thinks you contested it out of spite. But there's more. She found those old letters from Dad, the ones admitting." She hesitated, heightening suspense. "Admitting what?" Pressed, heart racing. "That you're not his biological son. She used it to sway him, cut you out entirely." The revelation hit like lightning, splintering my world. Heartbreak surged, Dad knew. And Emily weaponized it. Betrayal deepened, layered with guilt for a past I couldn't control. Mom's affair, hidden for years, now a tool for exclusion. Back in the ballroom, the cake-cutting ceremony began, spotlights beaming on Emily's triumphant smile. I watched, planning quietly. Subtle hints emerged. A nod to Greg, who avoided my gaze. Emily's fleeting glance of triumph. Moral conflict tore at me. Was revenge worth it? But cold resolve hardened. She'd pay, not with noise but precision. The night wore on, dances swirling in a kaleidoscope of colors, the air thick with champagne bubbles and suppressed emotions. I mingled strategically, gathering intel from loose-lipped relatives. Uncle Bob, tipsy, let slip. "Emily's got the whole estate now." Smart girl, tying up loose ends. Rage intensified, fantasies sharpening. Sabotage her honeymoon. Expose the truth publicly. As midnight neared, Emily pulled me aside to a quiet alcove, velvet curtains muffling the music. "Why are you here?" she hissed, facade cracking. "To celebrate," I replied evenly, but my eyes betrayed the storm. "Or to cause trouble," she countered, revealing paranoia. Dialogue laced with tension. "You started this, Em." "Excluding me." "Your brother," she scoffed. "Half-brother. And after what you did, trying to steal Dad's legacy." Lies, but her conviction showed moral complexity. She believed her narrative, driven by insecurity over our fractured family. I left the alcove, fear mingling with determination. The betrayal was clear, the pursuit of revenge ignited. Dawn broke gray and heavy, mirroring my resolve as I drove away from the venue, the estate shrinking in my rearview like a fading nightmare. The highway hummed under my tires, rain pattering on the windshield in rhythmic accusation. Humiliation lingered, a bitter taste, but obsession had evolved into calculated planning. Emily's exclusion wasn't just petty. It was the culmination of years of manipulation, using Dad's secret to erase me from the family tapestry. Guilt nagged. Was I stooping to her level? But resentment drowned it. Justice demanded balance. Back in my modest apartment, the city skyline a jagged silhouette against the morning light, I paced the worn hardwood floors. The space smelled of stale coffee and unread books, a stark contrast to Emily's opulent life. I booted up my laptop, the screen's glow illuminating my shadowed face. Research began subtly, digging into Greg's law firm, uncovering whispers of shady deals. Doubt flickered. What if exposure backfired? But fantasies of poetic justice propelled me. Ruin their honeymoon with anonymous tips, or better, dismantle the inheritance legally. Days blurred into a slow burn of suspense. Work as a freelance journalist became a cover. I feigned normalcy in emails to family, but inside tension coiled. Emily texted once. "Sorry about the mix-up. Let's talk soon." Manipulation pure, but I replied cordially, lulling her. Inner thoughts warred. Heartbreak over lost sibling bond versus cold resolve to strike. A week later, I met Clara at a quiet cafe. Steam rising from our mugs like veiled secrets. The aroma of fresh pastries clashed with the gravity of our words. "Tell me everything," I urged. She hesitated, her fingers tracing the cup's rim. Dad changed the will after Emily showed him proof, a DNA test she secretly ran. She said it was to protect the family line. But really, she's drowning in debt from the wedding. Greg's helping her sell off assets. Layers emerged. Emily's motivation wasn't just spite, but desperation. Greg's ambition. Moral grayness deepened. Her betrayal stemmed from fear, mine from pain. Planning intensified. I hired a discreet PI. The exchange in a dimly lit park bench, wind rustling leaves like conspiratorial whispers. "Tail them," I instructed. Reports trickled in. Honeymoon in Bali, but arguments overheard. Greg meeting shady investors. Fear gripped me. Discovery could mean lawsuits, but obsession overrode. Subtle retaliation began. Anonymous emails to Greg's firm, hinting at conflicts of interest tied to the estate. Tension rose as I monitored their socials. Emily's posts grew strained, smiles forced under tropical palms. Guilt surfaced during sleepless nights, the city's neon bleeding through blinds. Was this healing or hollowing me? 2 months post-wedding, the net tightened. I uncovered the twist seed. Emily hadn't just excluded me. She'd forged documents, claiming full ownership by alleging I'd renounced my claim. Proof came via hacked emails, morally gray, but justified in my mind. Rage peaked, but I held back, pacing my apartment, the clock ticking like a bomb. Confrontation loomed. I arranged a family dinner at Mom's old house, now Emily's. The drive there, autumn leaves crunching underfoot, built suspense. The Victorian facade loomed, windows glowing warmly, belying the storm inside. Emily greeted me warily, Greg hovering. "What's this about?" she asked over roast dinner, the clink of forks tense. I played it slow, dialogue revealing cracks. "Just catching up. How's married life?" Greg boasted, but Emily fidgeted. As dessert arrived, sticky toffee pudding, Dad's favorite, I dropped hints. "Heard about the estate sale. Smart move." Their eyes sharpened. Paranoia surfaced. In the study afterward, leather-bound books smelling of dust and secrets, I confronted. "You cut me out using lies." Emily paled. "It was for the best. You're not even." I cut her off. "Dad's." "No. But forging my signature. That's criminal." Shock rippled. Greg intervened. "Easy, Alex. We can settle this." But his tone hid fear. The payoff built. I revealed the evidence, printed pages slamming on the desk. "I've sent copies to the authorities. Unless you transfer my share." Emily broke, tears streaming. I was scared. Debt collectors. Greg said it was temporary. Revelations poured. Greg schemed to flip the estate for profit, using her vulnerability. Moral complexity hit. Her betrayal was manipulated by him, but she'd chosen it. The twist struck like thunder. As police sirens wailed outside, tipped off anonymously, Greg confessed. "It was my idea. But Alex, that DNA test. Emily faked it. You're full blood." She lied to Dad to get it all. Heartbreak crested. Emily sobbed apologies, but trust shattered. Poetic justice. She lost the estate in the scandal, Greg his license. I walked away with my share, but the victory was Pyrrhic. Family bonds ash, guilt my companion. In the empty house later, Rain lashing windows, I pondered the cost. Revenge delivered consequences unforeseen, leaving me isolated in the ruins. The wedding's joy forever tainted.